putting pressure on Russia to pull its troops from Ukraine, canceling preparations for the June G8 summit in Sochi. It's also considering banning visas and freezing assets. Russia says it's protecting ethnic Russians in Crimea. CCTV White House correspondent Jessica Stone has been tracking the latest developments here in Washington. And Jessica, any firm action from the U.S. just yet?
Well, Susan, as we learned today that the U.S. is no longer welcoming Russians to the U.S. for an energy cooperation event, this follows that announcement that all American preparations for the G8 summit have now been halted. And a team of American diplomats is headed to the region next week, including U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. Meantime, the pressure is mounting from some 1 million Ukrainian Americans here in the United States.
Leave Ukraine alone.
Ukrainians and Ukrainian Americans descended on the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. Sunday to send a message.
My mom is originally Russian, my dad is originally Ukrainian, and today Putin tries to protect my mom from my dad. I promise you, Mr. Putin, that my mom does not need your protection.
If the U.S. stands back and lets them get away with what they're doing now, who's to say what's going to happen next?
But one day after U.S. President Barack Obama warned Russia not to intervene in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin sent forces into Crimea. So U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry now heads to the Ukrainian capital Tuesday to coordinate the economic isolation of Russia until the Russian president withdraws Russian troops from Crimea. The ruble has already fallen an estimated 8% since the start of the year.
He is not going to have a Sochi G8. He may not even remain in the G8 if this continues. He may find himself with asset freezes on Russian business. American business may pull back. There may be a further tumble of the ruble. There's a huge price to pay.
While no one in Washington is calling for a U.S. military response, the American president's critics are already calling for sanctions against Russia and a strengthening of the Ukrainian military.
That's part of strengthening and stabilizing the government in Kiev now so that they can transition to stability down the road as well. I think part of that should be strengthening their defense capabilities, because I think this threat is a long-term one that they're facing.
Monday, the U.S. will send its top regional diplomat, Victoria Nuland, to Vienna to work with the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe on sending monitors to Crimea. A senior administration official says in Obama's call with Putin Saturday, the Russian president agreed to discuss accepting monitors in Ukraine. And U.S. officials also said Sunday that at Ukraine's request, they are organizing a meeting this week of the parties who signed the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, a diplomatic pledge to respect Ukrainian territorial sovereignty after the Ukraine decided to denuclearize. That group includes Russia, Ukraine, the UK, and the U.S. Susan?
Thank you very much.